Hello and welcome back to the Perth to Paisley podcast, episode number 168, where we will be covering Hearts' opening day result against Rangers, something only the optimistic Hearts fans amongst us predicted, definitely not us. And let's be honest, most of this episode is going to be about a Costa Rican right back, but we'll try and speak about other things as well. I, as ever, am Daniel McIver, joined by Adam Kennedy. Adam, how you doing?
I'm good, McIver, yeah. Plenty positives to take for the weekend performance. But before we get into this episode, I'm going to have to start and apologise to Matej Rapnik. Turns out he beat Gary Glenn in Soccer AM's Skill School all those years ago. So shows how long ago I watched it.
That is genuinely huge news.
And you were slagging him off last week, so
I was.
So yeah, we're all Matej.
However, I did say, how the fuck do you lose to Gary Glenn in a skills school? And I was proven right. Apparently,
yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, really pleased that the season's up and running. This is probably my second favourite time of the year. So yeah. I'm so happy, really happy. And it's nice that we've actually got something positive to chat about, which is always a bonus.
Exactly. Now, I will just acknowledge this right at the start. As you can maybe tell, I am choked with a cold because only I could get a cold in the hottest August we've had in ages. So if you're listening, I apologise for the weird voice and if my voice breaks a lot. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you just suddenly see me have a silent to you coughing fit, it's because I've just muted the audio. But focus on Adam's wonderful new kit and door.
It's just unnecessary pressure, isn't it? Like,
yes.
There's absolutely no need to try and prolong me talking whilst you are silently dying in the corner. But thanks, mate. Hope you're feeling better soon. I maybe should say that first and foremost.
Thanks so much. I was going to say, it's fucking evident that that's the secondary view here.
You didn't sound it though. As soon as we came on the call tonight, I thought, and you were starting apologising, I thought, what's he apologising for? And then it's only then when I heard you say like something else that you sounded really nasally. So
yeah,
sorry.
So this will be the least listened to episode of the podcast ever. And I don't blame you. It's fine.
To be fair, we've reached 168 episodes of speaking. It's about time that we had a silent episode, to be honest with you.
That is very true. That is very, very true.
Because we've been spouting shite for years now.
Exactly. So it would be all the better if we just didn't say anything. But, unfortunately, the show must go on even with illness. And we will start with our first Around the Grounds of the new season, as it was just a pretty wonderful weekend of Scottish football.
It was a good one.
So, of course, we were the first game which we will speak about in due course in this episode.
However, the goalless draw, which was a curtain raiser.
Yes, exactly. And to be honest, we're saying it was a really good weekend for Scottish football. The first day wasn't that eventful, as there was 2 0-0s on the opening day as Motherwell drew with Ross County.
Welcome back.
Moved on to the Sunday where there was loads of goals as the Dundee derby opened the season for the two Tayside clubs, and it was an as ever explosive game that finished 2-2 with loads of mental goals, big talking points, loads of decisions, the usual shebang from up there. Celtic came out with their big flag and as ever won comfortably as they ran out 4-0 victors against Dent McKinney's Kilmarnock. But the big result of the weekend was St Mirren, who just in the week comfortably sailed through in Europe with a 4-1 victory over whoever the fuck they were playing.
Valur of Iceland.
Thank you. This is why you're the one in journalism and it's no me.
All about the attention to detail, mate.
Yeah, you're maybe thinking, oh, they've only played a few days ago. They had to make a couple of changes. This is Hibs' game for the taking. No, it's not. St Mirren 3, Hibernian 0. Welcome to the big time, David Gray. Well in, mate. And then on the Monday night, Aberdeen, Jimmy Thielen's first league game in charge, ran out 2-1 victors against Craig Levine's St Johnstone. It's really not immediately looking good for St Johnstone. But what did you make of the opening weekend of fixtures?
Like you, I was incredibly underwhelmed by the Saturday, despite leaving Tynecastle in a state of optimism. Sunday, I actually tipped 2 each in the Dundee derby.
Well, hey.
You'd have got 11-1 for that. So that was something. Should have had something on that. Obviously,
sobering.
So that was great. Buzzing to see that back in the top tier. Can I just say?
Yeah.
I think it's been 3 seasons since. Obviously, with those 2 clubs being the last 2 championship champions. So
yeah.
I think it's Scottish football's most underrated fixture, the Dundee derby. It's always chaos. Something like 2-0 in 30 years tells you all you need to know about that game. Crazy. Speaking of crazy, I can't wait to see Hibs fans go crazy at their biggest ever legend. He's got back-to-back games coming up against Celtic. It's already a tough start. It could get even tougher. And having watched the highlights on Sports Scene, St Mirren didn't look like the ones that, as you rightly said, had played on the Thursday into the Sunday. Hibs were woeful. Dylan Vente missed an absolute sitter.
He missed 2. The other one, he defensively clears better than any St Mirren player.
But the other one, you have to score. The third goal is just an absolute catastrophe.
It's mad.
Epic proportions.
Yeah.
Defensively, really suspect. St Mirren might be one that we've both kind of underestimated, I think, in the preview. But Hibs are awful. And in terms of teams that played in midweek, that was obviously apparent with Kelly. Why the SPFL and the Scottish Premiership does not decide to help our clubs in Europe baffles me. It astonishes me. Of course, there's Kilmarnock busting their wee balls to try and get into the Europa League. So what do? Oh, that's right. You play the reigning champions who've looked incredibly slick in pre-season, away from home, on Flag Day. What is the point?
Yeah.
And in terms of Monday night, I thought Aberdeen were good. I'm not reading too much into the hype because St Johnstone really are terrible. I mean, even their goal is Aberdeen's making, really. So it could have been a lot more comfortable for the Dons, but I suppose 3 points is 3 points. And they can't have really asked for a much better start. You mentioned Jimmy Thielen there. He's the first Aberdeen manager to win his opening 5 games.
I saw that. I did see that today, actually.
But obviously, League Cup and
helped as
we said, he's got a decent enough squad. Amazed that Bojan Miovski came in on Monday night though. Which was surprising. I don't know whether they're just kind of putting him in the shop window. But in terms of there wasn't really any shocks. Maybe we were, but then
I would say so.
Upon the 90 minutes,
in the context of the game, it wasn't a shock.
Do you know what I mean? It's weird. Other than that, I think it was a pretty mental but expected opening weekend.
I think that's very fair. By the way, for people watching on YouTube, you just didn't have any video for the first 7 minutes because something weird happened and it didn't record. You had our lovely voices, but you heard me speaking about a physical medium of coughing fits with nothing on the screen. So, love you. And to everybody listening, you've no idea what's happening. Exactly.
Back with a bag. Exactly. We never left.
And another thing that was back with a bang was Heart of Midlothian this weekend. Opening the...
It's all intentional. It's all a big plan.
We all know what's happening. And what is not maybe the big plan that we all thought was going to happen of a 5-3-2 / a 3-5-2 from Stephen Naismith's first team sheet. Actually, we lined up with a 4 at the back against Rangers. And there was 3 players who had been signed in the summer making their league debuts. It was the 2 fullbacks, Gerald Taylor and James Penrice, with Jan Danda in the kind of number 10 / he actually kind of started at right wing, almost, basically. All 3 of them came in, and then making up the rest of the numbers was the usual people from last season. Xander Clark was in goals, centre-half partnership of Kairos and Frankie Kent. Cammy Devlin and George Grant made up the midfield 2. Lawrence Shankland started in the 10, which was interesting. Barry Mackay on the left and Kenneth Vargas as the number 9. When you saw that team sheet, what did you make of it?
Pleasantly surprised to see a back 4.
Yep.
A little bit concerned about the lack of kind of I don't know, defensive know-how in midfield, I would say,
Right.
would be my only concern. I obviously love a Benny Beningame to bits. We didn't have Callum Neuenhoff, so there's no real sitter, I think, between George Grant and Cammy Devlin, although George Grant was pretty much tasked with that. I actually thought he did really well in the 90 minutes. My God, it must be a new season if I'm praising George Grant from the get-go. But
Actually, he's not really featured in any of the highlights. I will say this now. I think that was George Grant's best ever game for us.
I'd be inclined to agree, McIver.
Yeah.
I really would. My other concern, or not necessarily a concern, I was trying to work out who was playing where.
Yeah.
I would have assumed that Barry Mackay was on the left, which proved evident. I'd have thought that Lawrence Shanklin would be the focal point up front, which wasn't. Don't necessarily mind him being in the 10 and Vargas being up there because he stretches defences and he gets in behind and maybe does the running that Shanklin otherwise doesn't, gives him more space, kind of on the edge of the area, just inside the box and what have you. But Jan Dand on the right, I'm not necessarily too sure about. I like him as a player, but I think he's far more effective, I think, through the middle. But yeah, I was pleased to see, obviously, Hearts confirm on Saturday morning that Malachi Boateng had signed from Palace. But I think we would have been asking a lot for him to then just come in and make his debut straight away. So in terms of the team, yeah, a bit worried with regards to, say, the midfield. I was going to say trio, but more quintet, really. But it turns out I needn't have worried too much. I was pretty calm with regards to the rest of the selection. What about you?
I was pretty much the same. I was just mainly surprised that it was a back four, but I read it as Dan down the 10, Shanklin 9, Vargas right, Mackay left.
Yeah.
So the surprise I had was when we lined up. However,
or the possibility to go two up McIver, sorry. Like
that's a good point.
With a Shanklin or Vargas, kind of Vargas just off him. But then we haven't really played with a two for ages anyway, so
yeah,
it's bound to just be one. It made sense once you saw it like there, but when you read the initial team sheet, I'm thinking, oh, there might be a couple little like positions that we can tinker with, I suppose. Really encouraged with the bench as well, could I just say. Craig Gordon, Stephen Kingsley, Craig Halkett, Daniel Oyugoke, Yutaro Oda, Blair Spittle, Alan Forrest, Malachi Boateng, and Liam Boyce. That is
unbelievable
strong.
Strength. Yeah.
Very strong. So was really pleased with the depth, pleased with the starting 11. My only concern was, a potential frailty in the middle of the park.
The big 2 points on that as well that I agree with you is there is that worry, but one, Naismith likes to have his front four change a lot during the game to not allow defenders to get used to somebody. And also, sorry to get off Football Manager, but as you said, Mackay and Danda weren't quite left and right midfielders / wingers. They were like inverted tens.
Yeah.
Where they just were like tight inside.
Yeah.
Most of the width came from Penrice and Taylor as if they would be with wing backs.
Which you can then see why those two have been brought in because they bomb on. Yeah. I mean, both of which pretty much were key to creating chances in the first half.
Yeah.
James Penrice has one of them.
Yep.
And Gerald Taylor pretty much lays another on a plate for Shanklin. Did you see on Friday night the warm-up was launched, which is kind of a new Scottish football channel with
Sam North, Stephen Naismith, thingy from Super
Gordon
Scoreboard.
Duncan from Super Scoreboard, and Marvin Bartley was on it as well.
Was it Marvin Bartley? I didn't see who the fourth guy was.
I was really intrigued because obviously it was on the eve of the game.
Yeah.
I've
only seen the clip of Naismith speaking about how Kenny Vargas was missing the cold. That's all I've seen.
I thought some of Naismith, I thought they were both great on it, but I thought some of Stephen Naismith's comments were really intriguing, both about what he wants from the season and kind of what he was hoping for from the game. Because he said that being the opening game, there was a bright buzz about it, be a full house, so he was looking forward to it in that perspective. But he also said that the two teams basically had players that could hurt you, they need to be on guard defensively and switched on, because there was a couple of occasions that they obviously weren't and they got done badly. But on the others, they'd competed well, caused them lots of problems. And at home, we fancy ourselves against anybody, which is exactly what I want to hear from the manager. He said that we think we can go into these games and win them. And whichever team has the better, the hard work and intensity is going to give you the better chance of winning. I thought all of that was pretty evident, particularly first half on Saturday.
Well, that immediately plays in because the first highlight comes 48 seconds in as Mackay finds Penrice, who plays a deep cross to Jan Danda at the back post, who cuts it back to Shankland, whose volley from the edge of the box is safely held by Butland. It's not, you're not sat there going, oh, that was a real chance. But it's immediately a statement of intent as 4 minutes later in the 5th minute, you mentioned it, Penrice ends up at the end of a nice move by Hearts and just drives into the box, beats Tavernier, but his shot is actually well saved by Butland. He does actually quite well to get his shot away. That is inside 7 minutes, one big chance and one other well-worked chance. That's, I don't want to say that's a rarity against Rangers, but in recent years it kind of has been in an opening.
It's attacking intent, isn't it? I mean, I you know my thoughts with regards to Hearts and a fast start. I bore everybody to tears with this near enough every week.
It's your thing, though. I like that you stick to it.
But it's true. Like, it's so important, particularly the season opener, to get the crowd on side.
Yeah.
And I see people moaning in the press today about, you know, the Rangers support or lack of at Tynecastle, the allocations poor, all that nonsense. The vast majority of that stadium were cheering on Hearts. So you want to get them on side as quickly as they can. Use the crowd to your favour. And we did that. I think in terms of the Penrice chance, I actually think he takes it really well. I think it's a heavy touch from Vargas. But what had come up on my Twitter in the week kind of leading up to the game was the Robbie Muirhead game, where we see James Tavernier switch off twice. It's virtually carbon copies. And that both goals are stabbed home by Robbie Muirhead at the back stick. So we know that defensive frailty is there. And I mean, James Penrice, that's his first Scottish Premiership in 6 months to the day. I think the last of which came against Rangers at Ibrox for Livingston. Wow. Got the full 90 minutes, and I thought he was absolutely excellent. The two chances were just signalling our intent from the off, and I honestly just believe that is so crucial. Albeit we could have done with one of them nestling in the back of the net, but that ultimately we're up against the best goalkeeper in the league, so no harm done in that respect.
Especially, you mentioned Penrice there. He again doesn't really come up in the rest of the highlights, but I do feel he's kind of been lost in the Gerald Taylor hysteria that we are about to play into as well. But I was so impressed by Penrice. You've just been speaking about how it's your thing that you love fast starts. It's my thing that I love Alex Cochrane. So I, more than most, have been... who needs him? Go back to Birmingham. Have your American owners. We've got a guy for Livingston, all right? That's all that matters. Penrice, I just felt he was solid. And that chance, I turned to my brother and was like, I didn't think he was that good going forward. I know it's one chance. And by the end of the season, we'll be sat here going, remember we had that one chance against Rangers that never did it again. But the worry I had was that Cochrane's replacement wouldn't have the attacking intent that he has done so well with. We're not going to really speak about him this episode because we don't know what's happening. But this Salazar seems to be more of the attacking fullback than Penrice is the defensive option. But if Penrice is doing that and having such a good 90 minutes in his debut for us against one of the two best teams in the league, that's as pretty much good a start. And keeping a clean sheet, part of a defence, keeping a clean sheet against Rangers. Can't really ask for more as a defender.
No, definitely not. And like I say, the lack of match action, the fact that he's not been rushed when coming back from injury as well. We've taken our time. We're reaping reward for that. A very, very impressive debut. It's just a shame that he probably was overshadowed by the bloke on the other flank, as you say. But it's nice that in recent years we've had a load of people impress on their Tynecastle debuts. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm thinking Toby Civic and Liam Boyce against
Yep.
Rangers, Benny Beningame against Celtic. You could add now Penrice and certainly Gerald Taylor to the list. It's good that these big fixtures against the top two, these players that come into the club aren't overawed, particularly when James Penrice has come from Livingston, with all due respect, they don't get that crowd. Their crowd is made up the majority of opposition fans. So he's adapted really well. It's a solid showing in his first Tynecastle appearance, and a really good base to build from, definitely.
We're speaking about the crowd, Patter, and we like to take the piss out of him on the show. But shout out to Richard Cobb, who had a really good tweet that a lot of Scottish journalists and Hearts fans were sharing, where he made the point that it was like, since we have made this cut in allocation, our results have been better against the Old Firm, and it just creates a better environment for Hearts to win and for fans to enjoy the game more.
God forbid that we look after our own and don't just roll over to the
Yeah.
Glasgow top two like everybody else does. Oh dear. I mean, who the hell do Hearts think that they are? It's tragic.
Well, somebody who clearly does not have any plans to roll over against anybody we come up against. And who do we think we are that we've signed this guy?
Oh, I
Because
don't
in the
know.
12th minute, Gerald Taylor had been doing well in the opening 10 minutes. He was closing down Cortez routinely, winning wee blocks, kind of intercepting passes before they come to him. And then he just decides, right, I'm bored. Like I've done my usual kind of fullback stuff now. I'm going to stretch my legs a wee bit. And he just goes on a 68-yard run, beating multiple Rangers players, driving right to the edge of the Rangers box, and then plays a lovely little pass inside to Lawrence Shankland, whose effort is admittedly deflected wide. But then the corner that comes from that ends up at the feet of Jan Danda on the edge of the box, and his effort is also deflected, but this time onto the bar. This felt like the best 60 seconds of the game for us in terms of attacking intent and really like two big goal scoring opportunities. So my second question is going to be Jan Danda's effort. What did you think of Jan Danda generally and stuff? But obviously my first question is Gerald Taylor the greatest Hearts player of all time already?
um, there's probably an argument that he's our greatest North/Central American of all
After
time.
a game, yeah, maybe. Love you, Kenny. You did get
Is,
like
is
15
there?
goal contributions last season. I'd still
Um,
put Kenny Vargas ahead of him right now.
I love wee Vargas, but I, I I watched Gerald Taylor with a tear rolling down my cheek. McIver is just that is the standard. Oh my god,
The best thing before I
he was
let you
incredible.
continue, the thing that really caught my attention from how we all loved it is, listen, let's be honest, we're Hearts fans. We react like this for a lot of new players. We
Yeah,
kind of just get really excited whenever there's a new person in the kit. But just the whole of Scottish football, because the game's on TV, it's the first game, so everybody's watching it.
folk that would not be routinely
Yeah,
asked about watching Hearts at any other time, just because it's
exactly.
they're wanting their football fix. Go,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, Hearts Rangers. That's a bit of a calendar fixture in Scottish football. Let's tune
I'll
into this and
watch
see
that.
what it's about.
The whole of Scottish football seemed to just be like, oh my god, this guy's incredible. I saw he was trending on Celtic Twitter being like,
See,
right, buy him then. That's an upgrade on Tony Ralston and Greg Taylor.
I honest to God, like I just worry. Like surely, surely we've got to just exercise the option now. Could he be the first? No, I suppose Rudy we bought and then lost in the same window, did we not? Back in the
Maybe.
day,
Yeah.
I we're going to do well to hang on to him, having just bought him when hopefully we exercise the option.
Yeah.
As he's going to be fun. He's going to be a lot of fun. I loved the Shanklin chance because he could easily have slipped out to Yandanda on the right hand side. Shanklin does well to even just basically let him maraud on,
Yeah.
get into a decent position, the two know exactly what they're going to do with Shankland asking for the cutback, but albeit we're just unfortunate on that occasion. But in terms of kind of the fast start, it kept on coming. It was chaos. It was bedlam. And all it missed was Yandanda's effort just being a couple inches deeper. But that's just one of those things. In terms of his debut, he's a player I really like. He's a player that I've been championing Hearts to sign last season. I think it's a no-brainer, free transfer. I know it's obviously a way off, but that Rabona cross that he did,
Yeah.
I filthy.
He's a PHM as well, so it adds a wee aspect to it.
He's a PHM. He's a 5-star skiller. He's just a baller.
Yeah,
he's a sheer baller. I'm gonna really enjoy him. I'm gonna enjoy the two of them. This is great.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this stage of the season.
We are just blind optimism before you get in November.
Can I just say, you spoke about, and you're right, that we sort of automatically put them on a pedestal after a couple of games. I've learnt my lesson when it comes to strikers, so let me have this with the right back. Fair. And in this case, the right winger stroke number 10.
That's very fair. But listen, it wasn't at all be sunshine and rainbows. Rangers did come into the game eventually. 19 minutes in, Connor Barron, who I thought was Rangers' best player. I don't know if that's too. Butland made big saves, but in terms of an outfield player, I thought him and Diamandi were kind of the best two players.
That's actually not a bad duo, those two, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think Diamandi's a £4 million player. I think he's a decent player, but
yeah,
Connor Barron's a good bit of business.
Yeah, definitely. He fires an effort from the edge of the box, but palmed away by Xander Clark. 2 minutes later, Cyril Dessers, who I'm like convinced if he could finish would be like an £85 million player because he has
all the
everything else.
Yeah, it does.
It takes an excellent touch from the air over the head of Kai Rolls, but then just skies the effort that he tried to make. And just like, I'll actually just jump to it now. 41 minutes. Dessers takes like what is a world-class touch. Takes a touch.
Penrice and Rolls are still sliding now into the wheat field. They're gone.
Yeah, they're just gone. But then his shot is just right at Xander Clark. What an enigma of a man. Like, it's just great. As I say, the Darwin Núñez of Scottish football, where you just have no idea what's going to happen.
He spoke about kind of outsiders viewing Gerald Taylor there. I think outsiders would view Cyril Dessers and think, how can a player blow so hot and cold simultaneously? The touch is filthy. The finish is horrific.
Yeah.
He would infuriate you, but then like he scored 20 goals last season. Like,
I know.
It must be incredible the amount of chances that he actually gets. Because every Rangers fan I know would gladly see the back of him, and we're hoping that this move to, I think it was PAOK, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Would actually come to fruition. It hasn't. He's still at Rangers, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I honestly don't believe he's that bad.
Yeah.
But then I saw him Saturday, and I'm thinking, how the hell did you not score? And again, this is kind of how you view the game, because we could chat about the game till the cows come home, and there'll be Hearts fans that think we maybe should have walked away with 3 points. I thought that was the case, but then I'll look at the highlights again, and Dessers passed up some good chances. Particularly the one where he shoots virtually straight. I mean, you're right, because Penrice and Rolls are two goners.
Yeah.
But then he shot as straight as Xander Clark, and as much as I want to praise the Hearts keeper for the save,
he literally just stands still.
Exactly. It's just a poor finish.
Yeah.
Because he does the hard part. Does the hard part so well, but just the easy bit just evades him.
Final point in this half. Another player I want to get your thoughts on. Penrice clears the ball, and Kenny Vargas spins Ben Davies.
Leaves him for dead as well.
Yeah, absolutely runs away from him. Finds Danda, who plays it back to Barney Mackay. His effort's over the bar. It's not much of a chance. But, again, the overwhelming reaction from kind of non-Hearts fans that I saw was that they were impressed with Kenny Vargas. Yes, he has that chance. it wasn't included in either Sports Scene or maybe it was included in Sports Scene actually, but not on Hearts TV, where he does so well to kind of get the byline and he cuts in and I'm like, perfect shoot, and he just doesn't, and he just kind of
Yeah.
tries to find
Second
someone.
half
No, first half. Like
or
I
first
remember
half.
him running at him, and then there was another one where he hits the byline in the second half
Sorry,
and
yes,
should
you're right.
try and cut it back.
Aye, you're
Yeah.
right.
So listen, he still has ways to go with his decision making. But generally, do you agree with the assessment that most people had of the game that he just looks like he's ready for this season?
I just love him because he's a wee live wire. That's the best
Yeah.
description that I've got of him. He's crazy. And he causes chaos. He knocks his pan in as well, the wee man. I love him, me. I
He
think he's
gave
class.
Ben Davies a torrid time and Davies came
He
off.
did. And then props to Stephen Naismith as well, because everybody, again, outsiders would probably think, why the hell is Lauren Shanklin, the bloke that scored 30 goals last season, not playing his Hearts out and out number 9? But Vargas stretches defences.
Yeah.
He gets him behind, he causes problems that Shanklin wouldn't, and like I say, leaves space for him. I like the two of them as a pair. I do. I think Vargas is still, I mean, 5 years to develop.
Yeah.
You'd like to think that that's going to happen whilst at us. So it was a solid first season from Kenneth Vargas to begin with, anyway. So I think he was most people's kind of most improved player shout. I don't think they'll be far wrong with that, to be fair.
Yeah. Going to halftime 0-0. We immediately come out the second half, and Rangers have definitely their best kind of 10-15 minute period immediately. 52nd minute, the biggest chance probably.
Oof.
Dessers has a header that is forced onto the bar and the post in the same moment, which is one of those moments where you're like, 99 times out of 100 that goes in.
Yeah.
But Cyril Dessers heads it, so it doesn't. But then you see in the replay, actually, it's a brilliant defensive header by Kai Rolls, who gets a nick on it, which takes it onto the bar and onto the post and out.
Fair play. I genuinely didn't even see that. So
Neil McCann made a
that's encouraging.
massive deal about it. Neil McCann was like, no one's talking about it. No one's speaking about Rolls there. And it's like the behind angle, and you see Dessers heads it down, and it hits. Rolls is just jumping, being like, I just need to get some form of contact on this. And it hits Rolls in the back of the head and goes up onto the bar.
Fair play to you for watching Saturday Night Sports Scene, because if you thought I was tuning in after 2 goalless draws, there's only so much that your football fix takes care of you.
Have you seen the big thing about Sports Scene this season?
The intro.
The old intro's back, so
Very
it's
nice.
like at least there's that going for us.
It's very nice.
Michael Stewart saying our squad isn't even that good and that we don't have very good players in the middle of the park.
Shut up, Michael.
But that was the most in sync we've ever been.
He knows all about not good players in the middle of the park. But
Exactly.
anyway, yeah, Sports Scene could have done with a couple brush-ups. You know that I'm quite critical of that programme, but yeah, that's good. It's a start. Well done.
And then the other big chance for Rangers came after Clark makes an excellent save from an edge of the box volley from Tom Lawrence that is dipping in.
What an effort that is as well, by the way.
Yeah, it's going in. It's definitely going in.
But even like Tom Lawrence, I thought did next to nothing.
Yeah.
But this is what would have infuriated me if that goes in and it's an absolute worldie. Then
yeah,
what can we say? Like you can't really argue. But that was basically all he did all afternoon. Because I thought for other than that, I thought he was largely anonymous. Ridiculous effort, great save from Xander. You're right. Like, I'd love to know what Philippe Clement obviously said to them at half-time, because it became apparent that they probably thought Hearts have passed up a couple great chances here. These are here for the taking. And we could kickstart the campaign with 3 points. But I don't know. I felt as though the Dessers chance was the big one that we got away with. It would have had to have taken something outrageous, which the Lawrence goal would have been, to break that deadlock.
And then we just started coming back into it. George Grant does brilliantly to win the ball in the middle of the park and start a counter. It ends up with Shanklin, who starts to go wide, but takes a shot. However, Butland manages to eventually smother it. Then 5 minutes later, Mackay whips a corner in. It's met really well by Frankie Kent. And the effort kind of just hits off Tavernier, and he doesn't really
Oh.
know what's happening, but it spoons over the bar, sadly, not into the Rangers net. And the only other highlight I have is, again, I wanted to mention it because I thought the whole defence was great at the weekend, but Kai Rose makes an excellent goal line clearance in the 87th minute to stop an onrushing Dessers from literally just passing it into an empty net. I feel even he couldn't have fucked that one up, kind of thing. Like that would have been a goal.
If somebody would have, it would have
It
been
would have been him. But yeah, so I saw that Clement afterwards said that a draw was a fair result, but Rangers felt like they could have won it. Whereas I would say a draw is probably a fair result, but I think most people would say it was Hearts' game to win.
Yeah, a draw was definitely a fair result. We had the better of it first half. They had the better of it second. It's just down to people's perception. I mean, I heard Peter Grant say that he thought that it was a point gain for Rangers. So to take of that what you will. I don't know. For me, on another day we could have won that game. On another day we could have lost it. Plenty of positives to take from the performance, like I say. So I'm not. It's bizarre, isn't it? How your kind of mood changes heading into the game. I'd snapped your hand off for a point, whereas I left Tynecastle thinking, yeah, it's a point on the board, but I'm slightly disappointed that Rangers left for something. So it's an annoying one. But ultimately, we lost enough games against Rangers last season that we can't really afford to take these points for granted. I'll take that on the opening day.
Absolutely. So there is loads of optimism, and hopefully that optimism carries us into our European games. As yesterday, we learned the potential teams for our Europa League playoff round. And for the love of God, of course, I'm choked with a cold, and I'll have to try and pronounce this Ukrainian team because Heart Midlothian will face either Kribas Kriviri. Who the fuck knows?
Not bad. It's a good attempt.
Or the team we will actually be playing, Victoria Pleasant, in the playoff round. In principle, the club stated that there is most likely we'll have an away tie first, with matches due to take place on Thursday, August the 22nd and 29th. Now, when you're seeing teams like Braga and stuff like that in it, you're thinking, okay, there's a few teams that you want to avoid. Victoria Pleasant, I think, will still go into our game as favourites. I think we will be slight underdogs, but it's one of the best draws we could have hoped for.
Yeah, the Braga or Servette or Midtjylland or Ferencváros were the two that I actively wanted to avoid.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that obviously the groupings hadn't come out prior to that because there was a part of me that before I discovered about the groupings was hoping we'd get Ajax. Well, I say Ajax. The winner of Ajax versus Panathinaikos.
Yeah.
Because it's a great excuse to visit Amsterdam for the first time, and that would have been an incredible occasion. A club of that magnitude. But I think in terms of a tie that we want to try and sneak into the Europa League, this is as good as we could have hoped for. Again, people would have wanted a glamour tie in the playoff to then drop into the conference, and then you're more likely to win games. I'm probably in that camp, but now that the draw's been made, I'm starting to think, well, if we get into the Europa, like that's great. We can't turn that dosh down.
As I say, I do think we'll be underdogs. Victoria Pleasant got to the quarterfinals of the competition last year.
They've got pedigree, don't they? In terms of
they've won several Czech titles in recent years.
Been in the Champions League recently as well, I think. So, yeah.
Their squad is worth
a winnable
48 million compared to our 7.
Jesus, what's that on Transfermarkt?
Transfermarkt, aye. Or no, sorry, our 12.
So 4. But yeah, look, it could have been better, but it certainly could have been worse. So yeah, I'm not too bothered. I thought that was as good as we could have hoped for, realistically.
Yeah, definitely. And another wonderful wee bit of news came out today as
Yes.
Midlothian announced that Stephen Kingsley has signed a brand new 3-year deal that will keep him at Hearts until 2027. As ever, I'm just going to read the press release that is from Kingsley himself, actually. But Stephen Kingsley says the decision to remain at Hearts was a simple one. The popular 30-year-old will remain in Gorgie until 2027 after penning a new 3-year deal, and the defender explained the reasoning behind his decision to stay in EH11. I'm delighted. It's one that's been talked about for a wee while. A few conversations with the manager sealed it for me. To be honest, I'm just very happy here. It's an exciting time ahead with the way the club is going for both the fans and the players. We've built up a great momentum getting in Europe season after season, and we're in a position where we can really kick on now. Off the pitch, it's also ideal for my family, and I've got kids that love coming to the games at Tynecastle. I've had some great moments here personally, so I'm hopeful that I can add to that as well. I'm as happy here as I've ever been in a long time. I've said it since the minute I arrived at the club that the dressing room here is top notch. It's looking like we're going to have another enjoyable season with each other, and I'm delighted to be a part of it. Adam, the man, scored the best goal we've ever seen in person. He's been a wonderful addition overall in his time at Hearts in the last 4 years, which is great. If he sees this new deal out, he'll have been at Hearts for 7 years, which is just
wild.
mad.
Wild.
And considering, I want to actually check this as I ask you your thoughts. I saw people on Twitter today saying there's a real chance if he manages to stay fit that he could play over 300 games for Hearts.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I want to see how many he's currently played, because obviously he did have that injury that kept him out
100 games
for a wee bit. But
in
as of right now,
7 years, so you're averaging 40 per year.
As of right now, he's played 154.
Wow. Jesus.
We are far and away the team he has played for most in his career. The next is who?
Swansea?
Nope, they're fourth. He only played 19 times for Swansea.
Really?
Yep. He played 17 times for Swansea under 21s.
I'll go Hull. I don't know.
They're third. You're getting closer. He played 46 times. But the jump is...
Did he play more games for Falkirk then?
108 games for Falkirk.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Oh, of course, because he broke through at like 16 or 17 or something.
In which...
that's poor.
He scored 1 goal and got 3 assists. And on his Hearts debut, he scored 2 goals. So... in his whole career up until that game, he'd scored 1 goal. And then in his debut for us, he scored twice.
What a guy. That game against Dundee was peak.
Just mad. COVID, eh? What a fucking laugh that was. But yes, Stephen Kingsley's sticking around until 2027, where he will nearly be 34 at that point.
I mean, I forgot, obviously, just how young he was breaking through at Falkirk. You realise just how long he's been about. Great news, because he's just so dependable. A wonderful squad player. I think he's still good enough to start, personally. And a cracking capture for us, particularly the fact that we were in the Championship and managed to entice him. Obviously, that year in the Championship, we've kicked on. He's kicked on. He's gained international recognition while he's been with the club. So, great move for all parties. Really pleased. Great news.
And maybe we will see Stephen Kingsley make his first appearance of the season this weekend away at Dens Park as we take on Dundee in the Scottish Premiership.
Who he scored those goals against back in the day.
We've just not missed a beat, have we? Ignore the technical difficulties we had at the start. It's fine. Yes.
Once we're on it.
Tony Docherty's team hasn't had that many changes to it. Now, by the time we play, the one player that is subject of interest heavily is Luke McCowan. Hibs and Bolton have had bids rejected, but they're apparently getting ready to make new bids. So will he still be here? We don't know. He was the man, obviously, that scored the penalty at the weekend, their club captain. They've added boyhood Dundee fan Simon Murray, who had a wonderful season last season and just always scores against us. They obviously don't have Owen Beck, who was their star last season, but most people expect them to have another reasonably successful season. We struggled a lot against Dundee last season, oftentimes coming out with the win, but having to work really hard to get it. It's a place that we don't have good history with, and I mean in our lifetime and definitely beyond our lifetime.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this Saturday? A 5:30 kickoff.
Yeah, live on the telly, Premier Sports.
Yeah.
Quietly confident, to be honest.
Okay.
Watched the Dundee derby on
So
Sunday.
did I.
As much as I thought they caused United problems offensively, I think defensively they're still pretty suspect. Um, that was obviously reflected in the scoreline, the fact that it finished 2 each.
Yep.
I don't. I think both Dundee teams can hurt you, but equally, I don't think they're the best at the back. We've got options now. We've alluded to the starting 11 against Rangers, the bench against Rangers, and I think we've got too much for Dundee. Personally, we also have a cracking recent run. I think what did we win the last 3 meetings? Lost the first at
Potentially.
Dens last season, and I think we won the remaining 3. So yeah, I think we can definitely keep that decent recent run going. And hopefully this is the first win of the Premiership campaign before obviously Europe hits.
What is your score prediction for the game?
Probably fancy us by a couple of goals.
Wow, you are confident.
Yeah, I am. I think they will score. Maybe a 3-1 Hearts, 2-1 Hearts, 3-1 Hearts.
Take that. I'd absolutely take that. I think Dundee are going to have a repeat scoreline and we're going to have a repeat result. I think it's going to be a 2-2 all. I think it's going to be a Desmond. We're just going for it. They're just going for it with a 2-all draw. So they're going to 2-all draw their way in top 6.
38 2-all draws.
Yeah, exactly.
The Premiership season.
I would love for you to be right. And to be honest, it is the most confident I've been going up there. But it just would be very us to have that performance against Rangers not win at Dens.
Yeah, I hear you. I do hear you. I'd like to think that we've got enough options in the squad now where that's not the case. That's not applicable.
The big talking point of Boateng potentially playing against the team he was at last season as well.
I think he probably will make his first Heart start because I don't think we're overly convinced. Like, as much as Grant was great at the weekend. Actually, there's a point. Who do you think he'll drop, Grant or Devlin, to make way for Malachi Boateng?
I don't think he will. I think he'll.
Do you not?
I think he will play almost an
unchanged
unchanged 11. I think he might start Forrest over Mackay.
Did I hear he's only done that once as Hearts manager?
I can only think of a stat of once. I can't think of him ever doing it another thing. There was a famous thing, right?
What did you say there? God. Sorry, Forrest in for Mackay?
Yeah, I can see it just added a bit more pace.
Okay.
As opposed to Mackay drifting in a wee bit, but I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. Spittle maybe coming in. We just have options.
Former United against Dundee.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like that.
But we'll see. Hopefully your prediction's right. I'm wrong. And you can come and go, haha, we're now 4 points out of 6.
I can assure you I will not be. I'll be too busy just pleased that we've got off the mark. That's the monkey off our back.
But as ever, before we finish, the end is near quiz. And I've prefaced this to Adam. I forgot I was hosting this until 10 minutes before we had time to do it. So this quiz could be the softest of softball questions. I know for a fact, looking at them now, one of these is a repeat question from last year. So let's see if you remember. Because the answer hasn't changed.
Oh, nice.
But we start with the multiple choice.
Okay.
It was the opening weekend of Scottish football. But which team suffered the heaviest defeat in the Scottish top 4 leagues, the pyramid, this weekend? Is it A, Kilmarnock? Is it B, Hamilton? Is it C, Cove Rangers? Or is it D, East Fife? Now, I will say to you, all those teams did get beat. I'm not throwing in a weird red herring where somebody won.
It's one from every division as well, just to...
Correct. I've got it. Look at me knowing about other Scottish football. The new season, new leaf.
Ayr beat Accies, was it 2-0 or 2-1? 2-0, I think. Cove lost at home to Annan. Because I remember thinking, what a trip that is to kick off your season all the way from Annan up to Cove. So glad that the travelling fans were rewarded with 3 points, make the journey worthwhile. East Fife, I'm not sure about. Oh, who did they play on the opening weekend? It's got to be Kelly, surely. I'm going Kelly.
He's 1 for 1. It was Kelly. Who lost, of course, 4
Who did East Fife lose to?
East Fife got beat by Stirling, I think. I've not got the scores.
Stirling snuck past Edinburgh.
East Fife got beat by Elgin, 4-2.
Elgin. Oh, wow. 6-goal thriller.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Thank God for that. Nice. Good start.
You're off to a good start. Second question. At the weekend, which Hearts player played the most amount of passes against Rangers? This is not successful passes. This is just
attempted passes. Okay. I could have done with this being a multiple choice. I'm not going to lie to you.
I will say there's potentially 2 answers.
I'm just going to go for George Grant. I feel like he was at the heart of everything.
Oh, you just needed to look to who he was on his left-hand side because it was his partner, Cammy Devlin.
Oh, that's so annoying.
I was going. The reason I said
Devlin most passes. Interesting.
He did have the 3rd lowest pass accuracy in the team.
That doesn't surprise me.
But the reason I was like, oh, there might be 2 answers is because I didn't include what is technically the actual answer, which is Xander Clark, but that takes into account clearances, which I don't think should count. You were wrong anyway.
But it doesn't matter.
So if it was like including clearances and I think goal kicks, Xander wins by 4. But Devlin is like just passes.
Well, put it this way, that would have just been cruel. Which Hearts player played the most passes or a goalkeeper? All right, thanks, mate. Thanks.
Right, you're 1 for 2.
Great to be back.
True or false? We just mentioned him. Cammy Devlin picked up a customary yellow card at the weekend. But true or false, Cammy Devlin has never in his career received a second yellow card.
He hasn't for Hearts because the only sending off he's had was against Rangers, and that was a straight red. Was it a yellow that changed to a red? I'm pretty sure it was a straight red. But the fact that you said in his career, does that include what for previous clubs?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Let's give you a trick question. I will say true.
Correct. Cammy Devlin has never received. He's received 3 red cards in his career, but they've all been straight reds. Yeah. Wow. So when he goes for it, he fucking goes for it, basically.
Can I just say I'm really pleased? That's obviously something that's like been consistent throughout, but it would have been easy for Stephen Naismith to take him off.
Which is what I thought he should have done because I was terrified, but I'm proven to be wrong.
He's obviously gone from 0 to hero under Stephen Naismith. Yeah. But it's nice that the manager's got that trust in him. So, nice. 2 from 3. That's all right.
2 from 3.
I'll take that.
And your final normal question. We were speaking about it a minute ago.
Oh, no.
What was the score the last time Hearts played at Dens Park?
3-2 Hearts?
He's got a hooray, because it's kind of a trick question. It was kind of a trick question because the last Tynecastle and Dens Park meetings were 3-2. The Tynecastle one was the Callum Neuenhoff coming out party when he scored that raker for the edge of the box, and then Lembakisa scored, and then Shankland scored. No,
so what was the one? What was the one in the top 6? Did we not beat Dundee 3-0 at home?
Oh wait, I forgot about that. Yeah, we did beat them 3-0. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot they were in the top 6 with a shite pitch. Fair play to them.
They sacrificed the pitch for the top 6.
Yeah, absolutely fair play. Right. The Who Am I? After your disgusting showing last week.
I know, that's I worry actually what this could be. This could be any Joker from any which year.
Let's get his Wikipedia page up.
Like this is going to make the blindest bit of difference.
Right. Are you ready?
Let's go for it.
I had 2 separate stints at Hearts, but never played a competitive game. I exclusively played in the UK. I have over 250 appearances in the Scottish leagues. And a month after joining the club I played for most, they went into administration. Who am I?
Oh my
Fuck you
God.
two, basically.
Jesus. That's horrendous. Got to be a goalie, surely, if they've signed for us twice and never played. I'm going to go for a list of clubs in the hope that that will, in order, that will help
Right.
me, hopefully. But I've no
Heart
idea.
of
You said
Midlothian.
you said exclusively in Scotland. Oh, great, an academy grant, brilliant.
Heart of Midlothian. I didn't say exclusively in Scotland because
Oh, the UK. Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Crusaders,
Oh, Jesus.
Inverness, Livingston, Wraith Rovers, and Heart of Midlothian.
So we were his first and last club.
Yep.
What was the clue about admin again?
A month after joining the club I played for the most, they were
The
placed
most.
into administration.
Was that Livingston?
Is
Sorry,
that your
didn't.
second
No,
question?
no, 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 no. What was the list again? Sorry, the list of clubs.
Heart of Midlothian,
Crusaders.
Crusaders, Inverness, Livingston,
Yeah, so it
Wraith,
must be right. Okay.
Hearts.
So it must be Livy at that, surely. When the hell did Livy go into admin? Not like the early 2000s. Oh my mother of suffering God. This is horrendous.
I'm saying this right now. I thought of this person 18 months ago, but ruled him out because I went, that's unfair. He never played for us. Then
No,
you brought in a new
no,
rule.
no, it's not even a new rule. I just wanted to
No,
get
I
Matty
know.
Ratnick out of the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Just wanted to get because I thought it was a unique one.
yeah. I
This
would say
is
this is a
this is
unique one as
this
well.
is this is this is uniquely solid.
Yeah.
Hearts first and last.
But never
Crusaders.
played.
Crusaders, Inverness, Livingston, Wraith Rovers, Hearts.
Yep.
Oh my God, man. This is horrendous. It's got to be a goalie. It has to be a goalie. Did this player play in goals, Daniel McIver? Surely.
He did not.
Oh God, I am humped. I am so finished. 2 periods at Hearts.
Never played, but two separate stints.
I have no idea. Oh, now it's some random striker in it that's like hopeless or something. Oh my God. I'm trying to think of like Northern Irishman, and Andy Kirk's the only man in my head. Just nipping over to Crusaders. Wraith Rovers, man. What a mental decision that was for Saki and Murray as well, wasn't it?
Oh, but yeah, that fucking happened. Something's
Scottish
going
football is
on
back.
there. Something's going
Yeah,
on there.
Scottish football is well and
Thank
truly
you for
back.
second. We got beat by a good Airdrie team. Goodbye. We made a Love Actually video for you at Christmas. Fuck off. Get up, Ian Murray.
There is literally not a single soul that is even close to popping into my skull. The Crusaders transfer is really annoying me because I feel like that's such a unique transfer that somebody abundantly obvious should be jumping out at me. Oh God. I don't know. I've honestly got nobody. Um, let's guess, and it's obviously wrong because I saw this man score in the flesh. Andy Kirk, because I don't know.
So, I will say it's not Andy Kirk.
Really?
I
Color
know.
me shocked.
However, you've not got it, but I want to see if you start to get it as I give you a couple more clues that I deliberately missed because
it would have made it obvious.
As soon as I said one of them, you would have went, no way, it's da-da-da. So,
all right, okay.
First clue is I'll tell you when he played for us. He played for us between 2001 and 2004, and then 2015-16.
Ooh.
Now, well, I just said there, he played for us. He's doing a lot of heavy lifting. He never
He's
played. Yeah. However, this man He's not really not. I mean, unless you're a Livingston fan who he played just under 200 times for, not really known as a player. More known as a coach. And the clue that I would have given you that would have got it is he's currently employed as a coach at Hearts.
Paul Gallagher.
It's Liam Fox.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Bloody hell. Wow.
Liam Fox.
I would never have got that. That's a good one.
That is a good one,
I can obviously see why you left the clues out, but I still would have got it wrong. But wow, Liam Fox, Jesus.
So the only bit
Livingston, Inverness, or Inverness, Livingston, Wraithrover. Wow. So did we hold on a second? Did we re-sign Liam Fox in 2015-16?
So his Hearts bit on Wikipedia said Fox started his career as a youth team player at Hearts, having been an unused substitute for the first team once. He was loaned to Northern Irish club Crusaders in 2004, where he made 10 appearances and scored 1 goal. In the summer of 2015, Fox returned to Hearts as a coach. However, he was registered as a player and he appeared in a pre-season friendly against former club Raith Rovers on the 7th of July 2015.
Bloody hell.
And now, obviously, he is our B team manager after being at Dundee United, Cowdenbeath, etc., etc.
Fair play, McIver. Decent who am I? Like it.
I'm chuffed with that one.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was hard. There's going to be some loser that's out there and got that and be like, Adam, how did you not get that?
Yeah.
But
Adam's been better there, whoever you are. You're not a loser. You're a wonderful, valued listener of this show.
Far greater man than me.
Exactly. It doesn't take much. But massive thank you to everyone who has listened to this, as there's been technical difficulties. I've been coughing and got a cold and the usual quality of our show. But if you have enjoyed it, please let us know. Leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you've watched us on YouTube, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Perth to Paisley on all forms of social media, and Perth to Paisley at gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can find me sharing the highlights of that Wraith Rovers friendly at Adam T. Kendo on all my socials.
I love the idea that that's actually filmed somewhere and just we can put it up for the YouTube video. That'd be. I'm going to try and find it.
I'll be lurking somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll be lurking somewhere.
We'll be back next week to discuss all the fallout from the Dundee game, potentially new signings with Salazar in the country. Who knows? But everything and anything else will be covered next week. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.